You know that feeling right before you fall asleep, when your brain decides that's the perfect time to remind you of everything that's going wrong? Most founders think that's just part of the job. It's not. It's costing you clarity. It's costing you decision quality. And there are two techniques, research-backed, not motivational fluff, that fix it faster than anything else I've found. That's what this video is about. Here's what most people get wrong about founder anxiety. They treat it like a mood problem. Like you just slept better, exercised more, meditated, it would go away. It won't, because this anxiety isn't irrational. It's coming from a completely rational place. You understand you're mortal, that time is finite, that you may only get a few real shots at building something that matters, and you're not sure this is going to be one of them. That thought isn't weakness, it's awareness. The problem is what it does to you after that. When that thought lives in your head rent-free, it starts warping everything. It enforces a negative lens over every decision you make. It quietly lowers your confidence, and it does something that almost nobody talks about. It makes you worse at the actual job of building a business. Not metaphorically worse, measurably worse. The research is clear. Sustained negative outlook compresses your cognitive flexibility. You stop generating creative solutions. You start overweighing threats. Your decisions get more conservative when you need to be bold, and more impulsive when you need to slow down. You already know this is happening. You've made decisions under pressure that you wouldn't make with a clear head. That's not a character flaw. That's biology executing a stress response that was designed for predators, not cash flow targets. But here's where it gets interesting. The solution isn't to stop feeling the pressure. The solution is to build a mental system that processes it differently. That system is built on optimism. And before you roll your eyes, I'm not talking about affirmations or vision boards. I'm talking about optimism as a trainable cognitive skill that directly affects how clearly you think under pressure. Quick note, how severely this hits you depends on your personality type. I built a short free assessment that identifies your exact stress pattern as a founder, with tools matched to how you're wired. Links below. Now, back to the system. There are two distinct types of optimism, and you need both. The first is called baseline optimism, your general default orientation towards your future. Baseline optimism doesn't mean you're delusional. It means that when uncertainty shows up, and it always does, your default assumption is that you're capable of navigating it. Founders with low baseline optimism don't just feel worse, they think worse, because they're already running the failure scenario in their head before anything has even happened. And that narrows the decisions they can even see, let alone make. The most effective technique I found to build baseline optimism, and there's actual research behind it, is called best possible self. Here's how it works. You close your eyes, you imagine a specific future day in vivid first-person detail, where everything has gone as well as it possibly could. Not a fantasy, not a wish, a real embodied picture of your life if you did the work and it paid off. Across 4 areas: professional, personal, social, and health. You don't just picture it, you feel it. The smell of the morning coffee, the feeling of walking into a room where people respect what you built. About a minute before you finish, this is the part most people skip, and it's the most important part. You picture your current self, standing on the sidelines, watching. Your future self walks over, and then you switch. You become your current self. Feeling your future self put a hand on your shoulder and say, "Keep working, you know what to do, this all belongs to you, but only if you don't quit on yourself." That moment, that specific shift in perspective, that's what makes the exercise hit differently. Do it daily if you can, minimum 2 to 3 times a week. But only one session is enough to notice a shift. But baseline optimism only gets you so far. It sets your default, it keeps you moving. But it doesn't tell you what to do when something actually goes wrong. When a campaign fails or a deal falls through, that's where the second technique comes in. The second type is explanatory optimism, and it's about how you explain bad things to yourself in the moment they happen. Because when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong, your brain generates an explanation automatically. You don't choose it, it just arrives. And that explanation determines everything that happens next. Most founders under pressure explain setbacks in three ways that compound the damage. They treat it as permanent. I'm always bad at this. They treat it as pervasive. This one failure proves the whole thing is broken. And they treat it as personal. This happened because I'm not good enough. All three of those are usually wrong, and none of them help you fix anything. Here's the framework that actually interrupts that pattern. It's called ABCDE, and I want you to write it down because it's one of the most practical mental tools I've come across. A. Adversity. State what happened. Just facts, no interpretation, like this campaign underperformed. B. Belief. Write down your automatic explanation, uncensored. And this is very important. Don't clean it up. The ugly version is the one you need to see. C. Consequences. What did that belief make you feel and do? Shame, withdrawal, lowered confidence? Write it down. Make the cost visible because it is costing you. Here's where most people stop. They identify the belief, feel bad about feeling bad, and move on. But you absolutely need to continue. D. Disputation. This is where the work happens. You challenge the belief across four angles. Is there actual evidence for it? Or are you pattern matching from one bad day? What alternative explanations exist that you are ignoring? Even if your explanation is partly true, does the catastrophic conclusion actually follow? And is holding on to this explanation helping you to improve or just punishing you? E. Energization. Notice what shifts after the disputation. Write it down, not because it feels good, but because your brain needs to register that challenging the belief actually worked. That's what makes the habit stick. But here's the part nobody tells you about optimism. There's a version of it that will quietly undermine you. And it's harder to catch than anxiety because it feels exactly like confidence. It's called irrational optimism. It's the belief that things will work out as you want them to. So, why is that a problem? Well, first, it's disconnected from reality. You can't plan logical next steps from foundation that ignores actual constraints. And second, it reduces preparation. Why prepare if you're certain you'll succeed? But preparation is one of the key foundations of success. And third, it kills motivation. If success already feels guaranteed, there's no real drive to push hard. But we know that results are always rooted in effort. The goal isn't to feel good about the future, it's to see it clearly and relentlessly move forward anyway. You now have two tools that directly interrupt that pattern. One builds your baseline, and one sharpens how you process setbacks. If you want to know which of these you need most right now, take the assessment below. It identifies your exact stress pattern as a founder and gives you tools matched to how you're actually wired.